So the inbred threatening savages are at it again, because their terrorist training and kid rape manuals suffer slight damage by a child. Of course, none of the following would have taken place with any other book, including religious texts, however. The authorities have capitulated so much at this point. We are living under Sharia due to these animals. A kid took the book into the school in Kettlethorpe, Wakefield, which should be used as toilet paper. Quite frankly, it was dropped and slightly damaged, as the school stated. The school said that it was not intentionally damaged, although they still suspended 4 kids, obviously as an attempt to appease the savages, which would inevitably kick off, as of course they did. The head of the school actually called the police to report the matter, which are the actions of a twat to start with. Instead of the police telling the school such an incident had nothing to do with them, as they should have, the useless, spineless, corrupt bent pig scumbags at West Yorkshire Police have recorded this bullshit as a hate crime, then have gone on to perform the usual crap for these animals. That being, turn up at the terrorist training camp, otherwise known as a mosque, to suck dick for people who will simply never be pacified in any way, while they dictate what should happen at a conference which they held. A conference set up by the mosque and live streamed by them in order to show how the authorities in the UK capitulate to them. At the conference, the mother of one of the kids, who was forced to wear some rag on her head as an act of capitulation, was made to plead for the safety of the kids involved, seeing of course threats were being made to them. I don't suppose the police will be chasing the threat makers or instigating any prosecutions either, as usual, despite that is actually the important part of this. A counsellor, yet another apologist for his kind called Akif Akbar, was at the conference, pretending he was trying to calm the situation. Yet, did not totally condemn the threats being made to the kids, which should be the most important part of this matter. Akbar also claimed that the damage to the terrorist training manual was more severe than what the school had claimed, not really trying to calm things down, instead attempting to cause more fear in UK society due to these animals' bullshit. It turned out the suspensions of the 4 kids were made after Akbar led a campaign on the matter, so he was fully involved with escalating of this non-event even prior to the kids being suspended. Akbar also stated he'd met with community leaders, whoever those sacks of shit are, and they'd agreed not to have a protest outside the school, which I am sure would have been perfectly peaceful without any more intimidation and threats as usual. So essentially, if Akbar and his like had not got their way, including the kids suspended and the authorities pander to them as usual, expect hell outside the school and probably more. Another sack of crap Labour councillor, Usman Ali, claimed the book had been desecrated and set it all, of course, in context of Islamophobia, in order for this insidious section of society to be grovelled to even more. Ali even calling for the police to be involved when they rightly should have told him and his kind to fuck off. This, just like the not too far away Batley Grammar in 2021, where a teacher went into hiding after death threats, a school closed down for days, muzzies making threats which the police did not chase, and so on. Just like every time something happens in connection to these fucking savages in the UK and Western Europe. Our traitor leaders have imported millions of these subhumans with worse than medieval beliefs and inflicted the hell they cause on ordinary people for decades. Yet again, these pieces of shit running riot around the UK, causing hell in too many ways to list, mostly who should never have been here, still using threats and intimidation to ruin the UK and have everyone living in fear of them. These inbred turds have been treated like a protected group since the late 1980s with the Rushdie bullshit. They have been allowed to grow into the mafia-like group which they have become, causing nothing but harm to the UK and Western Europe. Third world people makes a third world country.